How's it going, guys? Untamed Gaming here, and that just is nostalgia. I used to rock that intro for a long time. I had it for these older games. I got this gameplay. It was maybe around 10 years ago, the last time I looked. Maybe it was like 9, 10 years ago or whatever. Maybe well over 10 years ago. Anyways, old gameplay. I wanted to talk about, a perspective from somebody who's played Call of Duty in the past but hopped off the train just because of like a mixture of different reasons. One, I lost enjoyment of playing Call of Duty. I think just numerous reasons, and skill-based matchmaking being one, and possibly that the newer player out there does I guess I couldn't compete with some of the newer players out there who are just so good at booty sliding and doing all this stuff. I just couldn't compete, so it's like I should get myself out of the league, retire. I mean, I played the Call of Duty since Call of Duty 4 for crying out loud, so it's like I gotta throw in a towel at some point. But I give respect to those who have played it and had to adapt to some of these newer styles of playing, and then had to reinvent, their sort of styles or whatever, and keep up playing Call of Duty. But I just got back from watching Nero Cinema's recent episode of Activision bashing, which rightfully so, and because from what I've been keeping tabs on was that Activision has this sort of fetish about like introducing some things and then taking them away and then bringing them back and labeling them as new features when they were in the game like years past. Modern Warfare 3, the newer one, being a perfect example of a game that was labeled as more of an expansion than just a brand new game altogether. When I take a look at games like Call of Duty games, like what you see here with Modern Warfare 2, the OG Modern Warfare 2, and what they're doing with Call of Duty now, and I kind of want to mark it up as Call of Duty innovating just for the sake of it, changing, not for the better, but just to say that this game is different from the previous game. And Nero pointed these out in his video, his most recent one, and he went over some of the golden era Call of Duty games and how they innovated and changed things for the better from one game to the other. When you had Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, you were introduced to a brand new setting for the Call of Duty franchise, because Call of Duty was mostly a World War II shooter prior to Call of Duty 4, and Call of Duty 4 introduced the Modern Warfare era, and they brought in kill streaks to try to mix up the multiplayer experience, which was a huge hit. And from Call of Duty 4 and World at War, because World at War kind of was the same thing with COD 4, but just in a World War II era style. Modern Warfare 2 comes in and tries to innovate by expanding on what worked, obviously, with the expansion onto different kill streaks, AC-130, the tactical nuke, bringing all these things that only did good by the Call of Duty franchise. And then Black Ops comes in and introduces the COD point, which changed the way how player progression went throughout playing, your multiplayer games. And for me, I want to say the tipping point, the decline in the popularity of Call of Duty, which kind of seems ironic, is I feel like when they catered the game more towards like championships, competitive play. And Black Ops 2 is a good indicator on this, when they introduced league play for those who are like in Call of Duty Championships or whatever, and then they have Call of Duty Championship rules within those league plays, like certain equipment wasn't allowed, certain guns weren't allowed. And I think the whole concept of having a fun casual shooter just kind of dropped after Black Ops 2. Maybe on during Black Ops 2 or after Black Ops 2 was when the whole idea of Call of Duty being this casual shooter where if you had about, some spare time, if you just wanted to hop on and try to enjoy yourself, that was kind of out the door. Though, like, in my opinion. And like it's become a meme right now with Call of Duty where it's like, oh, this is what we had with Call of Duty, where it's like you had like serious looking soldiers and you looked like, you had different models for characters who you knew that they were part of a faction, whether it was Spetsnaz, SAS, US Ranger, all this other stuff. And nowadays people are running around with Snoop Dogg and running around with Ninja Turtles and all this other stuff. It's like, I feel like that Call of Duty right now is just innovating just for the sake of change, or just doing these things because they know that there's going to be somebody out there willing to pay for the stuff just for the cosmetic stuff and not for like if Call of Duty being a good game. Now, this can be, I know this is a little biased because, like, one, I haven't played newer Call of Duty games, so I just can't really give them my full opinion. This is just based off videos I've seen from Nero, of his Activision bashing and all this other stuff. But I just also seeing like kind of the trends of where Call of Duty is at right now. And I'm at the point where it's like I feel like Call of Duty has kind of reached its limit to making change for the better. I feel like if Call of Duty were to actually listen to its player base, like, hey, skill-based matchmaking is not good, could you introduce a casual play? I feel like you would have seen that years ago at this point. And with that whole shift from, kind of not catering Call of Duty to those who would just want to play casually just for sake of, enjoyment of the game, and maybe let's level up a gun or something just, for fun, besides just the grind and all this stuff. I feel like you're running a marathon just to unlock camo number 3 for said gun. I just think that whole shift also kind of left me in the dust because I felt like then the Call of Duty game wasn't for me. I am not a competitive player, especially when it comes to Call of Duty games. Like, I'll compete in like NHL games or whatever because I feel a little more competition is there because obviously it's a sports game. But for games like this where it's like, Modern Warfare 2, for example, it's like it's a fun, casual game you can just hop on and go on a streak and level up guns and enjoy your time. Whereas you take this and then go to, say, I don't know what the current most skill-based matchmaking thick game out there is, but it's like you take that and compare to this, it's like, this is literally child's play compared to what they got over there. And that's another indicator of why I wanted to leave, because I just felt like the game was not meant for me. And thus, from there, I moved on to play other games like Battlefield. And I wanted to stick with my, stance with like, oh, the game's not fun anymore, so I'm just going to go play games I'm actually having enjoy. And, games that my friends are still playing to this day is Battlefield. So, I just think that right now would be a good time for Call of Duty to probably do the right thing, and that would be to maybe come out like what Halo did with the Master Chief Collection and just come out with like a Call of Duty collection with some of the older games and make them work on current consoles and PC with new working servers and all that. So I just feel like that would be a nice little touch to kind of a give back to the community for, some of those old players that just don't want to play because possibly the same reasons I have. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a like if you did. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Whatever it makes, stay awesome. Take care out there.